Hey, what's up, guys? This is Real Chief speaking, and welcome back to another catalog review here on my channel. So today is the day we are finally back at Lionel.com here, because as you can see, we are going to be taking a look at the brand new Lionel 2023 Volume 2 catalog, which just came out today. And Lionel has dropped a numerous amount of items in this month's catalog, and it was definitely the right time to do so. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at everything that they are announcing for this year, and we're also going to have some fun with it as always. So let's go ahead and click on the volume 2 here. And lo and behold, we have our first look at the cover here, which is absolutely gorgeous. We have a little sneak peek here of the F-19 Chesapeake and Ohio Pacific locomotive, which Lionel is releasing this year. And at first I couldn't tell if that was a scratch mark on the top of the boiler there, but that is indeed a depiction of George Washington at the top there. So thank God it's not a scratch mark, but I'm also really glad that Lionel is offering some more presidential type locomotives this time around. And here's another little sneak peek of a steam locomotive, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Okay, so here we have the F-19 Pacifics. We have a Chesapeake and Ohio 490 at the top here, not to be confused with the 490 C&O Hudson. We also have another one down at the bottom, numbered 494. We also have Chesapeake and Ohio 493, and we have Chesapeake and Ohio 491. And I noticed that 3 of these engines come with a gold eagle at the top, which adds a very nice touch. And it does remind me of the gold eagles that you would find on some of the old pre-war American flyer trains. Now, all 4 of these engines go up to $1,300 a piece, which is a little on the pricey side, but it's not really too bad considering that Lionel has been kind of overpricing their locomotives over the past couple of years. We also have some more F-19s, including a Halloween and a Christmas-themed locomotive. We also have another Chesapeake and Ohio. We have Pure Marquette, and then we also have a R, F, and P type locomotive down at the bottom. We also have 2 more Chesapeake and Ohios here. And then finally, on page 13, we have the matching passenger car set, which you can buy separately. Next, we have the 2 662 type locomotives, including Denver and Rio Grande. We got Nickel Plate Road, Northern Pacific, Norfolk and Western, and then we have this one down at the bottom as well. And these go for about $1,300 a piece. And I actually know a friend of mine who would go really nuts over this Western Maryland model here. And then we also have the matching passenger car set, which you buy separately for the Western Maryland here too. And next we have the consolidation type locomotives, including a Black River and Western locomotive. We also have a Colorado and Southern painted for the Burlington route. We also do have the Duluth, Mesabi, and Iron Range locomotive, which is really nice. We also have a Grand Trunk Western type locomotive. We got Lehigh Valley, and finally we have Northern Pacific. And these locomotives can accommodate 031 curves. They also do feature whistle steam and road-specific details, which is really nice. Now, all of these steam engines here that I mentioned go up to about the $900 range. Now, that might not be the official price of the engine once it releases. It really depends on who you're buying it from, so you might be able to get a little bit of a slight discount. But the one thing I really like about the 614 Burlington here is that it has a detachable snowplow in the front, which adds a nice touch. Moving along to page 20 here, we have Lionel's brand new model of the M1 Pennsylvania steam locomotive. Now, the versions with the small tenders will accommodate 054 curves, and then the larger tenders can accommodate 072. And then over here on page 22, we have Lionel's new model of the Union Pacific Northern. We have the Greyhound version. We also do have a 841 model, as well as the iconic 844 down below. We also have a gray and silver paint scheme. And then we have a 38 model in the center, and then down below we have the hot dog paint scheme, just like we had with the Challenger. And I know that Chris over at RBP is probably going nuts over this paint scheme right about now. But then last but not least, we have the auxiliary tenders, and then finally we have the 18-inch Union Pacific passenger cars to go with the Northern. What's also nice about these tenders here is that they offer one with sound and another without sound, and you can also get it with or without the American flag on the side. But anyway, moving along to our next page here, we have our diesel locomotives. This is Lionel's new model of the SD50 type diesel locomotive, which features road-specific detail and new tooling. We have a very beautiful Baltimore and Ohio / chassis system unit at the top here of page 28. We also have the Denver and Rio Grande. We also got a Union Pacific Heritage unit headed by a Fantasy Paint Scheme Missouri Pacific type engine. We got a Norfolk Southern at the top of page 29, as well as 2 Conrails. And then finally, we have a fast freight service headed by a Reading and Northern type engine. Here on these 2 pages, we have the SD78 Heritage units, including a very attractive Norfolk Southern / Jersey Central unit. We got a IT locomotive in green and yellow. We also got another Union Pacific down at the bottom. We have Erie Lackawanna on page 31, as well as a Erie Railway paint scheme. Again, all Norfolk Southern. And then finally down at the bottom, we have a very sharp looking New York Central Heritage paint scheme as well. Now, all of these engines can accommodate 036, and they're all new products from Lionel, and they're definitely built to order. And just before I forget, these locomotives are also equipped with Legacy and Bluetooth. Next up, we have Lionel's new models of the GP30 type diesel locomotives. We have 6 different road names, including Alaska, Conrail, Pennsylvania, Santa Fe, Wisconsin Central, and then finally New York Central. These locomotives can accommodate 031 curves, and the one thing I really like about the Alaska here is that it has a flashing strobe light at the top of the cab. Next, we have Lionel's new models of the F7AA sets and the B units. We have a very nice looking black and yellow Frisco diesel locomotive with the flashing strobe light at the top, just like with the GP30 Alaska set. We also have a very sharp looking Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy model with a brake wheel at the top. Finally, down at the bottom here, we have Lionel's new model of the Santa Fe Blue Bonnet paint scheme, which is a little bit too much of a coincidence, if you ask me. I feel like this is kind of like Lionel taking their stab at Menards for their Blue Bonnet paint schemes, which they just came out a little while back. But I feel like they really did improve the product here. And the one thing I really like about these Blue Bonnets here versus the Menards is that the pilot in the front really complements the blue on the locomotive, rather than having the silver on the trucks as well as the pilot on the Menards. But anyway, next up we have the Boston and Maine F7 units, as well as a Rock Island paint scheme down at the bottom here. Now over here on page 38, this was definitely something that caught my attention. And in case you guys know me, you know how much I'm a really big fan of the Great Northern Railway. This is Lionel's model of the Great Northern Empire Builder. And the last time they ever made a set like this was somewhere probably in the early 90s with Lionel's version of the F3 unit and passenger cars. And this is a very gorgeous set. I mean, look how much detail that they put on the engines. Not only just the engines, but the passenger cars too. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that I can afford the set here whatsoever. You know, the passenger cars and the locomotive altogether, because I don't really have any 054 curves on my layout. So even if I did buy this engine, I would only have to run it at the club's layout. So I'm probably going to have to wait a little while until I can see if I can try to get my hands on these units here. But if you ever want to run a B unit with this engine, Lionel does provide one with the locomotive as well. Alright, so that's enough of that. So let's go ahead and move on to our page before I continue to drool over these sets even more. So anyway, on our next page, which is page 40, we have our Alco S2 type switchers. These engines can accommodate 031 curves and come with some very beautiful paint schemes. They also are affordable at the $550 price range. Again, a little on the pricey side, but not too bad compared to some of the other prices that Lionel has, come up with in recent years. We also have a Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway Legacy set, which can accommodate 054 curves. And that's a very beautiful paint set, or paint scheme right there. And then we have our Western Pacific Feather River Freight set here at the top. This train set can accommodate 031. And then down at the bottom, we have the middle, or M1 Middle Division Manifest Legacy set, headed by a Pennsylvania. And this set can accommodate 054 curves. We also have our American Orient Express, featuring some very nice looking passenger cars. Here we have some more passenger cars on this page here. We also have a Fireball Great Northern baggage car. And then on page 51 and page 50, we have the PS-5 gondolas, including Area 51, a graffiti one. We also have New York Central, Reading, and a kaboobla of other road names here. And then here we have our boxcars on these two pages. We also have our World War II boxcars, which come in a 3-pack here. And then here on page 55, we have our hopper cars, which are 2-bay. We also have our PS2-2 CD cover toppers, which are very nice. Next up, we have our single sheath boxcars, as well as our standard O items, including double door boxcars such as the Burlington Northern, 2 Southern Pacific models. We also have Union Pacific and Western Pacific. And then finally, we have our John Deere stuff here, in case anybody is interested in this kind of thing. And then finally, we come to our last couple of pages, which feature our traditional items, such as Lion Sheet Plus 2.0. Okay, so here on page 68 and 69, we have our Berkshires and GP7s. Now, Lionel is re-releasing the 726 Berkshire for Lion Sheet Plus 2.0. We also do have an American Railroads model, numbered 759. We also have a 704 model down at the bottom. And then finally, Lionel is also re-releasing the Santa Fe Berkshire for Lion Sheet Plus 2.0 as well. And then on page 69, we have our Jeeps, which have brand new tooling on them. We have a Denver and Rio Grande at the top, as well as an Aberdeen and Rockfish model, which I don't think I've ever heard of that road name before. And we also do have a Jersey Central in the red and white paint scheme. And then finally, down at the bottom here, we have the brand new Rock Island GP7. Now, all of these locomotives can accommodate 031 and actually come at a very good price. And then over here, we have a Great Northern 280 Lion Sheet Plus set, which I think is really cool. Again, here Lionel goes again with the fantasy paint schemes like they usually do. And then over here on page 72 and 73, I think this probably has to be the coolest, if not the coolest, Looney Tunes set that Lionel has came out with. Here we have a matching diesel locomotive with the Lion Sheet Plus Looney Tunes remote control system. We have Wile E. Coyote, who apparently has crashed in the front of the engine. And at the back here, we have an operating gondola, which features Duck Dodgers himself, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, and Marvin the Martian. We also do have the Acme Dynamite Factory, which I think is pretty funny. And it does come with some pretty cool features as well. And then we have the Tasmanian Devil operating aquarium cars at the top as well. We also got some more Looney Tunes items, including a Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny operating handcar, which they haven't came out with since the early 90s. But this handcar here has some brand new tooling. We also do have some more traditional boxcars, including some American patriotism boxcars. We also got some more Looney Tunes stuff. And we also have the Lionel, Weather Balloon Defense 2-pack set. And we also have a Bethlehem steel flat car, which is really nice. And then finally, we do see some alternate paint schemes for the Mickey Mouse handcar, which Lionel is re-releasing since its first appearance in 1935. And I think that might be about it as far as the catalog goes. I know that the last couple of pages of the catalog show like a bunch of brochures and such, including a advertisement for the Lionel Collectors Club of America, so I'm not going to go into that. So let's go ahead and go back to the front page, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts on everything that Lionel has showed here. Now, before we go and wrap everything up here, in case you guys want to go ahead and take a look at the catalog again, you can rewind the video, or I'll just leave a link down below to Lionel.com, so that way you guys can take a better look for yourselves. Now, as for my final verdict here, I do think that a lot of the items that I showed this time around in Volume 2 are a whole lot better than what we got originally in Volume 1 early this year. And I also think that a lot of the items here were better priced this time around. Now, some of you guys out there might disagree with me, but it's at least my opinion, and I'm definitely entitled to that opinion. And I do know a lot of people are starting to praise the F-19s here. They are very beautiful models, like I mentioned earlier, and I know a lot of collectors are going to want more of the heritage units that Lionel's offering this time around too. So let me know what you guys thought about Volume 2 down in the comments section below. But as always, my name is Mike. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell down below for any other project that I upload. And don't forget, tomorrow at 8:30, I'm going to be doing another live stream, only this time it's going to be a collaboration with me and Peachy over at Peachy's Trains, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. But until then, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all in my next video.